Welcome everyone to the revamped GFL2 Exilium new player starter guide. I figured as part of the 1-year anniversary I was going to redo my old quick start guide and kind of bring it up to date and refresh it a little bit. So here we are literally at the first screen that you can actually do something at right after the very quick tutorial. So let's get started. I might hop around a little bit in this video. I'm going to be skipping a lot of the cutscenes. I'm going to fast forward through some of the, some of the missions. I'll let you guys read all the stuff that you want on your own time. But we're going to cover all the important information that you need to accelerate your account, kind of get everybody caught up. And yeah. So first thing you got to do, obviously, is pick a good name. So let's pick a good one. Oh, this guy's already taken. How about there we go. That'll work good. Let's go with that, and sure, let's hop in.
指揮官、指令室の準備ができたわ。コンソールに注目して。すべての機能はここに集約されている。
Okay, so after doing the tutorial missions, we're finally at the main login screen here, and we'll be able to go around and select different things. Let me do a quick overview of what's happening here. This little diner gate here, this has got your mail and stuff. You'll see the little mail icon. Just click on him specifically, and then you'll pull up the menu here. It'll show you different things that unlock. And this is important. This section is where they send you all the in-game mail, which you will be getting spammed with a ton. But make sure you grab it all. It's a bunch of free starting resources. Depending on when you start the game, in the future, whether it's now during the 1-year anniversary or later on, there will be a bunch of things waiting there for you. As far as starting out, the first thing you want to do is, if you don't know who to gamble on, don't worry, we'll get to that in a few minutes here. Everything in the game is tied to your commander level's progression, which you can see down here in the bottom left. Now, this level is gained or is leveled up by using the thing next to it, which is the intel pieces. In other games, it's called stamina, sometimes resin, trailblaze, power, whatever they want to call it. In this game, it's called intel pieces or intelligence puzzles, and use that to do typical gathering missions like grab combat reports for leveling your characters, etc., etc. But that also levels your commander account. As you can see right now, we're overcapped, so that's not good. So the first thing you'll probably want to do is spend some of them. And the best thing to do is to go through the main story here. Like I said, everything is tied to your commander level, and the main story as well has some specific unlocks, but mostly all the different stages give you a higher than usual amount of experience points. So usually it's 1 experience points for every 1 intel spent. For the story missions, it tends to be higher. For example, here you get 30 for 10. So we're going to fast forward through a little bit of this. I'm just going to power through some of these missions real quick, and then we'll reconvene, and we'll talk about what to do after that. We just don't want to be, overcapping too much. All right, so once you finished up Chapter 1 here, Mei Ling's going to abduct you for a few minutes here and tell you about all the new stuff that's been going on in the game, one of which is the crew deck. You're going to get spam with a bunch of notifications. Feel free to read through them. Now, at this point, you're like a real person, and you can start doing a lot of the different stuff. Like I said, the first thing you can have the privilege of doing is spending a 1,500% value. Wow. Thank you, Mika. So generous. Spending some money and getting some standard tickets, I guess. Yeah, standard access, targeted access. We're going to go over the gambling here in a minute. Mei Ling's going to introduce you to the crew deck first. This is one of the big highlights that they added in the 1-year anniversary. This is the revamped dorm system slash housing decoration. I don't really know what to call this, to be honest, but so we're gonna do this real quick. What a name, dude. What a name. So I'll let you guys go through this, but the The lounge is something that you're going to kind of do just kind of in your spare time. This is not too central to the main gameplay. You're not going to unlock a ton of stuff here, but we'll cover this at a later date. Okay, after you make it back to the main screen for the second time or the third time, let's talk about some of the stuff real quick. Shop is very self-explanatory. This is where you do all your purchasing. There are free gift boxes every day, which you want to grab, so make sure you grab those. And weekly and monthly gift boxes as well, if they apply. Don't worry about these little flower things yet. They won't be usable till level 55, but for now, just hoard them like a greedy dragon. After that, you can start doing the gambling. Like I said, we're going to talk about this here in a minute. And also, we can come to the refitting room here. You can change your character's loadout, your gear. You don't need to do anything. The game is very low difficulty for the starting sections, so I would highly suggest you just keep powering through the main campaign here until you unlock the next couple chapters. And in addition to that, you don't need to do these little side branching ones. I forgot to mention that earlier. You don't need to do these side branching ones. They give you some rewards. These just unlock little stories, which also give you a little more like collapse piece rewards, but they don't give you any like bonus experience. So just continue down the main line here all the way to your finished, and then we'll get into the next topic. So fast forward once again. Something I really quickly wanted to mention, that they talked about this in the tutorial, but if you weren't paying attention, there is a support feature. So you should be able to clear all these story missions without leveling any of your units, without changing any gear, etc. But if you want to use support units, that will help make everything brain dead easy to speed through the first parts of the game. When you come to the support tab here at the top, you'll see a whole bunch of people. If you don't have anyone in your friends list, it'll just show you random people that you can borrow units from. Usually just take the unit with the biggest number, big number good. If not, you can friends me, and if I have any space on my friends list, I'll be more than happy to add you, and you can borrow some of my units. So we'll just go ahead and slap one of my units in there, and this will just kind of smash through all the content. Okay, so if you got this far, you're at Chapter 3, and now we're getting into some of the other mechanics of the game. More buying stuff. But for all seriousness, at this point, once again, you have finally drained a little bit of your intel points so they're not overcapping. And from here, kind of the world is your oyster. You can kind of do whatever you want. I would, once again, highly suggest doing the main story campaign and just keep going through that until you've either run out of stamina for the day or you have no more time left. Now, you can recharge these stamina if you've been doing the missions. You'll have gotten some of these access keys. These are like one-time little like refreshes. They add a little bit of intelligence. Now, I also highly suggest throwing a couple revamps of your intel pieces with the collapse pieces here. Now, hear me out on this one. I know you guys all love gambling and stuff, but since the entire game is locked behind your commander level, this is going to expedite the development of your count significantly. The first purchase every day is only 20 collapse pieces, so if you do this for a week, you're going to be out one standard or one limited ticket. I think that's a fair trade. The amount of intel that this is going to push you ahead over a long period of time is definitely worth the, maybe 10 or so tickets you're going to get. You'll find out as you play this game, they're very generous about the number of collapse pieces you get from doing missions, events, story stuff, etc., etc. So the limiting factor is not necessarily how many limited tickets you have. It's definitely how fast you can actually get to the end game. And it's also worth considering that the sooner you get to the end game, level 55 plus, the more modes you unlock, which means the more collapse pieces you can generate. For example, right now you can see that time limited events are blocked out. You can't be doing any of the time limited events until you're at level 20. And then same for 55. There's a 2 game modes that unlock at level 55. And once again, they generate you more collapse pieces. So the sooner you can get there, the faster you can recover what you've spent. Let's talk about a couple more things real quick before we move on. Something I did want to mention that I didn't go over before was that in the mailbox here, one of the things you will get after, I think, Chapter 2 is you'll get one of these rings here from Persica. These are the Covenant rings that you use to unlock the Covenant system with the dolls. It's like the in-game marriage system. It doesn't do anything besides unlock some weapon skins, and there is a 5% stat boost for the character, but it's nothing too crazy. The reason I want to talk about this specifically is that this ring is only gained through the shop here normally. You can't... It's in one of these menus. I can never remember which one it is, but you can't normally purchase these in-game with any of the in-game money. It's in here somewhere. Here it is. You can't purchase these with in-game money. You have to purchase these with real money, so be very careful. You get one for free at the beginning of the game, so really consider what you're going to use it on before you go ahead just willy-nilly hit that Covenant button. In addition to that, some other things will be unlocking here in the shop as you level up and progress. You'll be seeing things like this. This is what's going on right now for the 1-year anniversary event. These are more tickets for the costume gacha. And every now and then you're going to hit like a threshold for commander levels, and you'll be unlocking more free stuff. So, as I said, you'll get the little notification thing up here. Just make sure you hop in here and grab them real quick. So finally, before moving on, let's talk about recruitment here. So, depending on when you start the game, different characters will be available at different times. So, right now, for example, the featured character is Robella. The character at the top is always a featured character, and then underneath it are the characters that are having their reruns. Right now, we have Belka and Jingyu. And then at the very bottom, we have the standard procurement. We're going to get to this in a minute. As a new player, you're going to want to do this beginner procurement first. This is a discount banner that gets you like kind of your first starter free 5-star. Don't use your collapse pieces on this. It's not important. You're going to get a ton of standard tickets throughout playing the game. Like, these are just the ones I got from collecting from the mailbox. You don't have to worry about this too much. Just use your normal ones. And as you collect them, just keep going until you finish this banner off. Save your collapse pieces for the limited banners. Now, I'm going to go over like characters that you want to consider in a different guide, and I'll link that for this video. That's a whole separate topic. The short answer to that is you're going to kind of want to pick an element and go for it. So if there's a character that you really like, or like a playstyle that you're really interested in, we'll talk about that in the other video as far as like what team to build around, but you can kind of just focus on one for now, or just hold your collapse pieces until you kind of know. Like I said, you can get through almost all the entire story stuff, all the important stuff, just borrowing units from people on your friends list. In addition, you might have this custom banner available when you start, or it might be coming soon. Once again, we'll talk about that in the other video. This just lets you pick a specific character that you want to roll, and you can kind of target them for a guaranteed win on the first 50-50. So if you've been following along with the guide so far, you'll get about halfway through chapter 3, and then you'll hit the first kind of major wall. And that is because your commander level will not let you go to the next mission. Eventually get to a point where it'll say, like, for example, me, I need to hit commander level 17 before I can continue onward. So at this point, you've kind of hit a stopping point. Now, ways to level your commander level besides the main story include doing the daily mission here. This gives you quite a bit of commander experience, so make sure you do these if you haven't done them yet. And then coming over here to supply missions. This is the other main way you're going to level up your account. Now, in the meantime, I would suggest doing the in-depth search here for combat reports. These are what you use to level your characters, and you'll need quite a bit of these, especially depending on how many characters you get. They are also tied to your commander level, so you can only do the one that you've unlocked to, but once again, it's a 1-to-1 ratio, so it doesn't really matter what level of these you're doing. It's just that the exchange rate gets better. For example, here at the higher levels, you get, for example, this one, you get 5,000 for every 10 spent versus, 1,200. So the exchange rate gets better, but you're still going to level your account at the same rate. So that's the main goal here. So it's not really important which one you unlock, but yeah, you always want to be doing the highest tier that you can. You can do some equipment analysis as well for the blueprints for weapons, but weapons are not nearly as important as characters. Most of the characters' power come from the character levels themselves. And then after you've done that, I think this is kind of a good time to kind of take a break, go back, go through some of these starter missions you haven't done yet, see if you can kind of get some of those out of the way, explore the crew deck a little bit, maybe mess around with some of the settings there. check some of the events, see what kind of things you've got sitting and waiting for you here. Like, for example, I got some freebies. Ooh, look at that. And then also, now would be a good time to do a little bit of gambling. Said refer to my other video on that one. Hopefully I'll be able to get that out very quickly after I get this one out within a day, so you can reference both of those. But other than that, at this point you're kind of in maintenance mode until you can get to the next commander breakpoint, which for me will be 17, and we'll fast forward to then. I'll see you in the future. I'll get to 17, and then I'll probably be powering through the rest of chapter 3. Okay, after coming that far, so we're now ready to do chapter 4, and we're going to have the same problem about halfway through chapter 4. I want to say, yep, out here you're going to see, once again, you're blocked by another commander level check. So we're just going to loop back around, continue to do what we were doing. I said you can do some supply missions. At this point, you should have unlocked the neural survey as well. You can do a couple of these to get some commander experience spent and to get some of the transcription conductors for Neural Helix. And then other than that, like I said, I would just kind of go through your stuff, make sure you've done your dailies, make sure that you've done all the stuff you can for the events. A lot of these you're going to be locked out of. For example, once again, Commander level 20 for a lot of this stuff. Make sure you click this rookie tab and make sure you come in here, grab these. These are more freebies. Grab these every day, etc., etc. Start working on this mission, and you can unlock a 5-star or a max in segment cheetah. Other than that, just like I said, continue to do that. You can spend some, if you're willing to, spend some of your access keys, maybe even dip a couple in. I wouldn't really go above maybe 3 purchases a day. It starts to get kind of expensive, but I would definitely do 1 a day. And just keep doing that until you're level 22 and you're able to continue. And I think at this point, we're going to end this first video in the series. I'm going to go and worry about making the recruitment guide one. That one's going to be a little complicated, so that one's going to take a little finagling, but I'll link it in the guide below, or in the comments below. And I will see you guys in part 2 of this series. We'll fast forward, like I said, about to level 22, maybe the end of chapter 4. And I'll check in with you guys then, and we'll see how you're doing. Oh, also, don't forget to do your commander log here. This is the battle pass. You also want to make sure you get that out of the way. But okay, we'll see you in the next episode.